going live. Alright. Alright, we are all set up. So I am here at the Power Shard Factory, which I've been letting run for like an hour. Probably should have gone for longer, but we do have some power shards backed up, which means we should be good to hopefully finish the power plant today. I don't know if we'll actually have enough power shards for that. I might go out of my way to grab some slugs, just like as we're hopping around. If I happen to see any slugs, I might grab them so that I can make some manual power shards just in case. But hopefully it won't be necessary. So let's get back to the hub. This is not the hub. What is this? Oh, yes, that is the hub. That was my nuclear pasta setup. Alright, so over here. And those sinks stick through the ceiling, so that's interesting. But we're not going to worry about that. We're going to head south. And a little bit southwest, I think, towards this radar tower. Yes. Alright, just gently tap the spacebar to maintain altitude as we fly towards the rocket plant. Alright, and we managed to land right on the edge. Would have been bad if we missed, but we didn't. So this is the top row, and we have 12, 24, 36, 48 here, so we need one more row on this one. So let's swap to the hover pack. And did I set all this up properly? Yes, it's being fed rocket fuel from that end. So now we'll come around to this end to feed the rocket fuel. No, that's the wrong blueprint. We need this blueprint. And we get to placing. 2, 4, 6. No. Place, please. 8. Rubber. Right. Rubber is one of those things that we are perpetually short on. So we'll have to wait for another minute or so to get the rubber through. I didn't realize I was so low on rubber, or I would have preemptively grabbed some. So this is the line we have to set up. And wait for the rubber to show up. I do love sitting around waiting for more resources to show up. I really need to accelerate the rubber a bit more. But we have that set up. Now we just hook the pipes in And apparently we messed up the alignment there. I actually think that may have been a previous mistake that I just... like a mistake I made in a previous row that I just didn't fix. Alright, and then the pipe comes out and around and in. Alright, so that is that. And, right, we need to hook the power lines up. So that goes there, then all of these snap together. And that is that. Now, these guys, they're going to be getting rocket fuel eventually. Alright, now I need to bring in the secondary pipe. Because Mark II pipes are cursed and don't work the way they are advertised, so we have to do it manually. Alright, so let's see here. Yeah, okay, so this is the pipe. Comes down here. And then comes down here. And then into this row. So we need to bring another pipe off of this row and bring that all the way up to the top of the tower as well. So you go up to the ceiling. And around this way. Alright, this is a little bit confusing. So that needs to twist up over the corner. And then up onto that corner. And then up there. Onto the foundation and in. And rocket fuel is a gas, so there's no need to worry about pumps and such things. It just works. So that is, I believe, everything hooked up. So now we can start turning this row on. Can you... No, you cannot copy-paste turning it on. That's annoying. Also, I actually need to get rid of a couple of the ones on the end because it's not actually supposed to be 60, it's supposed to be like 57 point something. Are these not all hooked up? Why does this row show that? If we hook that line up there, then it works. Alright. That's fine, just a minor glitch. Forgot to hook the power poles up properly. And actually, while we're here doing other things, I should preemptively grab some rubber so that my supplies last longer. Ba-do-ba-do. Open switches. Power production is skyrocketing once again. We are getting to the point where my power boost is handling all of the power needs. So that's fun. So let's almost done turning these on. I'm not sure if the blueprint having them off is actually necessary, but it does make this very satisfying. So we're going to stick with it. Alright, so we were here in the last row. How much do these use? 10.42. 600 divided by 10.42 is 57.5. So now we're at 59, 58, and set this down to like 320-ish. And that should be good on the underclocking. Now we just go back to turning them on. Grab more rubber. Grab more motors. And now our inventory is starting to be full. What is it full of exactly? We don't need this turbo fuel. We don't need that Caterium. There's flexible frameworks. More wires. Those are all unnecessary. Yeah, lots of random junk. Just get out of my inventory and we have a full row. Alright, so now if we check, capacity is up to 140,000-ish. Obviously, there's some geysers in there, so it's not 100% reliable, but 140,000-ish, pretty good. Alright, now we go down to this row, which is the last one that makes the rocket fuel itself. So, we have this pipe used, this pipe used, yeah, and this pipe used, so that's 3 out of 6. Which means we are left with these 3, one of which is smaller than the others. How much is this even? 100, 200, 300, 400, 437.5, whereas these ones are both full. Alright, now we need to pick another one, so we'll pick this one. And bring its pipeline all the way up. Need to be careful not to intersect with anything here. The pipelines are starting to get a bit busy. Sort of just how it works. Alright, we need to make a new floor. up you go to like there. And then across over that way. Alright, so we have our new floor. We need to head over to this side of things, because this is where we start. And start building out the foundation. So we want to have some free lanes to be building power generators in before we run out of concrete, which is very likely to happen. So we get that. That's like 3 foundations more. So now we can turn around and do another batch of 3 rows. Alright. This is definitely coming together. Not that big. Each floor isn't really all that big when you look at it. Alright. Now we take that up to there. May as well bring that up to there. Alright, we have run out of concrete, which means it is time to start building the generators themselves. And I guess routing the pipes. Get the pipes around the right locations so that we can set everything up. So here is the pipe that we left off. It goes up this wall and onto this wall, where it goes around. And this little segment doesn't need to exist. Goes around the corner. And I guess technically there's no reason not to have it start on this side. Wait, what? No, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to just bring it up onto the foundation. Alright, so that is that. We will deal with that later. For now, you have to go grab a power pole up onto this level and then start bringing in the generators themselves. Alright, so that's 2. 4. 6. 8. 10. 12. Alright, and then we hook that pipe up. And we hook all of these pipes up. Just hooking up pipes, don't mind me. Alright, now we have to grab this power pole, attach it to that power pole, and then attach all the power poles down the line. And yes, they are hooked up to the grid. Alright, that's one row done. While we're here, let's hopefully finish off the foundation placing. Although it might require another batch after this one. Placing foundations, building a nice big floor. Alright, so this is the last bit that needs to be foundationed. All of these guys in. Now it's just one little corner. Looks like we probably won't have quite enough concrete to do this all in this batch. So let's head back to the generators and start placing another row of those. Want to make sure there's enough space between the lines. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Alright, so now we get the pipes in. And then we put the power in. And then that will be another row of generators done. Alright, pipes hooked up. Power being hooked up. And then we attach that to there. And we need a little bit of foundation there for this pipe to come around and in. Alright, it's another row complete. Now we will head over to do these last foundations. Alright, now there's this tiny little corner here, which just goes like that. Alright, that's all the foundations for this road done. And more generators. Alright, that's 2. 4. Missing encased industrial beams now. And not seeming to get them at any quick rate. The shortages just keep coming, huh? Alright, well, if that is an actual encased industrial beam shortage, we might have a problem, because I don't think I'm it seemed, at least based on the speed that it was catching up, that might not be a dimensional storage problem, but actually just an overall production problem. Which would be bad. Because I think my overall production is very slow for those. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna have to check that out. Okay, here is the hypertube cannon. And off we go. Switch to jetpack. And gently tap the spacebar every so often to keep altitude. We want to head further west than normal because we're aiming for the coal setup and not the generic hub, which I feel like Alright, well, I messed up the landing there, but we can just get into this hypertube and that'll take us to it. It was a bit further than I thought. It was actually just down here. That particle accelerator threw me off because I forgot that this is where I make time crystals, so I forgot that that was there and I got confused about my directions. Alright. Encased industrial beams, where are you? Right here. Producing 4 a minute. And yep, we are clean out. Well, let's make that 8 a minute. And make that 20 a minute. Or at least temporarily. We obviously can't afford to keep it like that, because this is 60 steel pipes a minute and 50 concrete a minute. We are not making that. But we are making like 40-ish. And we are not using any of it on stators, that's for sure. So we're going to be able to produce it relatively quickly until these backlogs pass, which they will eventually. And even once the backlogs pass, we're not using this 15 steel pipes a minute, so it'll be a bit quicker anyway. What does the concrete production look like, though? We need 50. This is going to be, what, 30? Yeah. Well, we can accelerate this. This is a minor Mark 1. We can plop in a minor Mark 3 there instead. Get way more limestone. Which then allows these to be overclocked a lot. which they don't need to both be at 37.5. These belts will need to be upgraded some. But this should produce the concrete necessary to keep up with the beams. It should work out to the belt limit, which is 60, and we only need 50, so that's fine. Then the steel pipes, we need 60 a minute. And this is 39 total, which is being fed steel from that, which is 58.5. Which is being fed iron from here, which is going to be more than enough iron, I would think. Although it is producing something here. Steel beams, right? Because I was just placing Mark III belts. Alright, but regardless of all that, it would be easier to just sloop that. So that's 40. That's 20, so that's 60. Make that be 60. And then just assume that we're not 1.5 Kohler iron short. So now, as long as we don't use any stators, which I can't imagine what we would be using, we should be able to pretty reliably get 20 encased industrial beams, which is a decent amount. It's not huge, but it's something. And while we're at it, while we're here, there are a bunch of dimensional storages here, which I believe are still running on Mark I lifts. So let's just pop around and fix these real quick. Any others hiding around here? Yes, this one, which is Nobelisks. And is running for some reason. Why was that running? Who knows? Who can say? I know I just made this one like 5 minutes ago, but is it running on proper speed belts? Technically, no. Alright. These serve no purpose. They were just there for investigation ages ago. So let's get rid of them. And that's probably running properly now. So with that production situation fixed-ish, it's fixed-ish, we can head back and go back to work placing generators, and hopefully by the time we get there, it's like 20 a minute, which is like one blueprint every minute and a half, which is not amazing. It's not an amazing speed of placement, but it is better than nothing. Certainly better than, what, 4 a minute, which would have been one blueprint every like 5 minutes. Alright. Into the hyper cannon. And off we go. can just barely see it over the trees. Let's hover on over. Just about there. Alright, we're here. We switch to the hover pack. And we get to placing again. Boop. Yeah, encased industrial beams already up to 160. Should be fine. I hope there are no other things that I need to upgrade as well for this. Alright, that's another row. So now we hook the power up. Hook the power up, and then we'll come back, hook the fuel up. No. Didn't mean to do that. Alright, it looks like that did get hooked up previously. Right, because I was halfway done with this row when I had to leave to check on the pipes. Or the encased industrial beams specifically. I said pipes because I think I make them with pipes, but not like that. Why must you do this to me every time? Alright. Another row done. 2 more to go. And that's 2, 4, 6. Yep, encased industrial beams are gonna continue to be a problem. Yep. Alright, we're gonna have to probably find something else to do for like 15 minutes or so, just to let these stack up a bit more. Alright, let's hook up the pipes. Yeah, you burn through all sorts of resources really quickly when you're building something of this scale. So let's... I don't know why. I have a bad habit of hitting random buttons instead of the button that I want to hit. Alright, that's that hooked up. And then we can do all of that. And now we need to... I don't know, I guess we can hop down and investigate the rest of this factory. So, are you... Yep, you're clogged because of output reasons. That's fine. As long as things are clogged because of output reasons, that's a good thing. So if I start finding things that are clogged for input purposes, like this one, this is where we run into potentially finding some problems. So this is the plastic it gets its fuel from this pipe, which... Huh? Is it getting... Is fuel going in very slowly, or is it just not working for some reason? Huh? There's definitely no fuel in either of those pipes. There is fuel in this pipe. I think this might not be properly connected. Try deleting all of this. And replacing it like so. And that is getting fuel now. And it doesn't need to get much fuel. So it does seem to be filling, which means it's probably fine. And those are clogged because of output reasons. Alright. We are now making plastic again. Is this going to be running at max capacity? 5.729 fuel per minute, which is basically just a couple drops. And it's coming out of this pipe, which is mostly empty. At least in that spot. Why is this pipe... Is this pipe doing well in general? No, this pipe is having problems across the board. So let's follow this back to the source and see what is going on with that fuel. If we're lucky, it'll just be... I mean, there's a lot of fuel in it. If we're lucky, the problem will be output stuff. Yes. There's a lot of fuel in the pipe, but it seems to not be running. Is it possible that this hill was just too much? Let's try just heading back like here-ish, where we know that there is fuel in the pipe. Hooking it up to a power pole and pumping that. And see if it was just having trouble getting over that little hill. Yes, that seems like that might have been the issue. The machine has a built-in head lift of 10 meters, and this probably went up to like 11 meters or something. So that problem should therefore be resolved. And we should see this blender turning on. Yeah. Alright. Problem solved. So this will run at 100% for a while. I do love problems with head lift. And these machines are all going to be... They're all... Outputs are going to be clogged, so there's nothing really to check there. These machines are starved of nitric acid. Is the whole thing starved of nitric acid? Yes, everything is. Alright, well, I mean, that's bad in the sense that it's a problem. It's good in the sense that it's something I can fix, probably. Alright, so back here, we have pipes full of nitric acid. Down here, we have... Right, so this is the consequence of that iron plate shortage I fixed earlier, which should be being resolved. Yes, there is now a relatively steady supply of iron plates flowing in. So let me guess, has my power completely tanked? No, it's weirdly stable. Okay. Alright, so this is now producing a steady supply of iron plates, but I kind of want it to be fixed more urgently than that, so I'm going to fill that in to be a full... to make sure that this belt is as full as possible. And I'm going to grab some iron plates and throw them directly in these machines just to get this all jump started. And let's see, yeah, it's coming along and manifolding along this way. Is this whole thing a giant plate manifold? Yes. No, it's actually two. It splits there. Alright, so that should be resolving itself. We should be producing nitric acid again, which will hopefully fix all of those problems. And cased industrial beam supplies are getting back up. Let's see if we can use those to finish off this level. Alright, so here we are. We can just continue placing these manifolds with a pipe on this side. And that hooks up there. And that hooks up there. And that's another row done. And we already got this row mostly hooked up, so let's just bring it the rest of the way. And now there's just one last row on this floor. So let's get these manifolds in. I would love to be able to finish this floor without having to wait for more encased beams. It seems like we are going to have to. It'll be close. We have 70-ish beams now, which means 2 more placements, and we need one more. We need one more batch of beams than we have. Let's just wait on that, and then we can say that we finished the entire level. And the more of these we turn on, the easier bug fixing will be, because the actual factory itself will be mostly on now. Waiting on the beams. Just counting them up. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Alright, so that means we just need to hook this row up, and then this floor will be done. And then there's, I believe, only 2 more floors after this one. Alright, which side? This pipe snakes around here. And in. And gosh, I don't know if all of these need to be hooked back up to the main belt, but I'm going to, because power line slots are not the problem here, nor are cables. Alright, so now all of these are hooked up to the power plant, which, yeah, it is currently seeing the effects of the nitric acid shortage, but also seemingly recovering from it, which is encouraging. I'm not going to turn this on just yet. So yeah, nitric acid shortage means that all of these are going to be a bit unreliable. Yep, that's a whole lot of red. Presumably this is relatively far back in the manifold being supplied nitric acid. Yeah, it's the last row. So if we head over here, yep, clear signs of the problem. It'll resolve itself soon. And in the meantime, these are still producing, although not at 100%. We need more plastic, it seems. That's 11.58. Yeah, I think it's just because alright, let's load those up with plastic so that they work properly 100% of the time. And how fast? This is a Mark II belt. It should be more than enough. Let's see if we can accelerate the manifolding anymore. You get 200, you get 200, you get 50 some. There's only so much we can do, but we can do some, at least. It's just going to have to sort itself out gradually. We can help where we can, but like, there's only so much we can do. This first row, at least, is almost completely set up. Not really, though. Alright, so the first machine is now capped. This one should be sorted now. Yeah, that will take a while to fix, but it should fix itself naturally over time. Which is fine by me. If I make that Mark II, does that speed this whole process up any? Hang on, wait. This is like 110 production total. 70 plus 40 is... This is like 115. Alright, it's really quite close to being on the line. Alright. But these bugs do seem to be being fixed. Now that these have their plastic supply, they shouldn't run out. 39. Hang on. What was the plastic input? 3.96 and 7.5. 3.96 plus 7.5 equals 11.46. This is technically 11.458. Let's make that the tiniest bit faster, I guess. 5.73 rubber and fuel. I don't know if that... Yeah, let me actually pull up the schematics for this. It should be 0.458. It's probably not gonna break anything for it to be running ever so slightly faster than needed, especially not when we technically have a shortage. Speaking of which, I'm going to continue accelerating the shortage being solved. Now, those are both 200. That one is 200, which means these last two should get everything they need. Then this splits to this one, so that's getting 200. That's getting 200. That needs to get up to 200. These last two are running perfectly smoothly. So the nitric acid shortage probably isn't entirely solved, but it should be at least solved enough that the current state of production is sufficient. Like, because we haven't finished building the entire thing yet, so having nitric acid production still at 80% and recovering should be fine. Now, how is this production going? Yeah, still short on nitric acid, going to take a while to recover from that. But power capacity has... Well, it's certainly making big progress towards recovery. It was down to like 90. There's still a bunch of rows of dead power plants. Alright, how's the encased industrial beam supply? It's back up to 180. Actually, I think there's still some finishing touches to do on this row, right? Yes, it needs its second hookup, and it needs its last couple removed. So this is 60, now we have 59, now we have 58. Now we have 58.5-ish. And now we need to find the relevant pipe and attach it. So one of these pipes will only be attached on one side. I think it's going to be this one. Alright, so we need to take this pipe, bring it up onto the ceiling. Alright, ceiling pipes are apparently very precise in where they want to go. So what we need then is just a little bit of a foundation there for this to go under like that. And then take this over here. Alright, now it can go up along the edges. Does that intersect? No, not even close. Continue to go up along the edges till it reaches here. And now we just bring it along, connect it to the end of that pipe, and that is that. How's the power going? Recovered up to like 120. Well, let's, I guess, start building another row. We're really almost done now. Like this row we're starting on is going to be the last full size. It's going to be the last full size row here, and then a partial row on the very top. And then we will be done with this power plant, minus probably hours of bug fixing. And also, we do not have the encased industrial beams to do this all. So there's going to be a fair amount of waiting involved, I would think. Let's extend this out to there. Okay, just placing foundations. I really hope the nitric acid supply recovers so that I can turn on more of these generators without it being completely pointless. Because if I turn on those generators, right, there's going to be a quick spike of power production, but then it's just going to collapse again, and it's going to need to recover, and it's going to be a whole pain, so it's easier to just leave them off for now, let the nitric acid situation sort itself out. Alright, that's a start on the foundations. Now we can start placing manifolds. Which ought to be like there, probably. Gonna need more height. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Alright, that is the first row of machines. Now we will place some foundations, just because we can. And we need to hook these pipes up, and hook the power up, and then go all the way down there and actually grab a pipe of rocket fuel for this. Alright, pipes attached. Power almost attached. Alright, power attached. Now we just need to bring this down. Alright, so now all of this is probably hooked up. Or not. What is that thing that I attached it to? Oh, this first row of power lines is not attached through at all. So that's interesting. Hooray! Bug fixing. Alright, so now that that full row is attached, now everything is attached together. And power is recovering up to 140s. Alright, now let's find the fuel, which is starting to be quite a ways down. It's a good thing it's a gas, or we'd be using all of the power on pumps. Alright, so we have these two. This one is a partial. This is the last full. Alright, so then this heads up there and through this giant space which exists for no particular reason. And gosh, so this is gonna have to come around here and then up this way. Yeah. Sending pipes up multiple stories of factory is not something that I normally do. It's a little bit different for me. But we've done it. Now we just have to fill in these holes in the floor. Which worked out rather strangely because I ended up building from both sides. No, don't build weird things off level. That would be bad. Alright, let's just... Hopefully this will be enough concrete to finish out this foundation. And then hopefully the encased beam production will be enough to build at least a couple more rows of actual machines. hard to predict what shortages will suddenly emerge when you're relying on crates full of backlog production from like weeks of gameplay of hardly ever using stuff. Alright, and then this needs one more row on the back, which we do not have the concrete for. Such is life. Alright, let's build another row of fuel generators. And give it some space. 2, 4, 6. Gotta make sure everything lines up properly. 8. 10. And 12. Was that a shortage of rubber that I saw there? Yes. Well, that's fun. I do love multiple shortages of different things. The rubber shortage normally resolves itself pretty quickly, though, because it is just a dimensional storage shortage and not an actual production shortage. I'm fairly certain, at least, if we did run into an actual production shortage of rubber, boy, that would suck. So we're just going to hope that that doesn't happen. And if it does, we can run back and fix it. Alright, so then we have to hook that up to the previous line somewhere. Yeah, power does seem to have largely recovered, up to 140-ish. This is 2 rows of fuel generators. So let's place a third. Two. 4. Yep. And rubber shortage. Oh well. I suppose while we are waiting for that, we could just take the hypertube cannon and just actually like grabs a couple stacks of rubber. Hypertube cannon technology, the north and south sides of the map are really quite close together. Switch to jetpack. And I have to make sure to flicker the jetpack every so often to maintain height. We are heading a bit further than usual, because we are heading to the rubber plant instead of the hub. So that should be this. Alright. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright. That should be more than enough rubber to last us the rest of our lives. So now we just have to head back. So rubber probably won't be a problem ever again. So now we just need to find our hypertube generator and hop back down to the crater. And we're off. You move just so fast, it's incredible. Flying over to the power plant. It's fun to see all the generators load in as you get close. Alright, and here we are. Swap back to the hover pack. And now we get to start worrying about shortages of power shards and, most pressingly, the encased industrial beams. Power shards might be a problem. I kind of feel like they won't. Copper sheets. And it's real bad too. Oh boy, free viewers. I do love free viewers. Get banned, nerd. Alright. So we have at least finished up this row, but it seems like our copper sheet production is also a bottleneck, and it is a production bottleneck, not a dimensional storage bottleneck this time, which is again much more severe, much less convenient to deal with. We're going to do what we can to finish up this row. And then we're going to head back up right where we came from to see if we can like sloop or overclock or anything of the sort. Yeah, I mean, it's just so slow. Like, even waiting for that tiny little bend will take forever. The good news is that this at least means encased industrial beams won't be as much of a bottleneck. See, if everything's a bottleneck, then nothing's a bottleneck. That's how that works, right? Swap to jetpack, please. Thank you. And cruise on back to the hub. Is that 2 radar towers within 6 feet of each other? It is. Fascinating decision by me. Alright. So let's see, where's the copper production mine? It's here. So that's copper sheets, that's copper sheets. So we've what, 2, 3 copper sheet producing constructors. The last 2 of which, all of which actually aren't getting enough copper. So I know we set up this whole sink situation here so that this would always be going, but I thought we did the math and figured out we had enough ingot production that it would cause any disruptions. That's 15, 30, 45, 60, 80, 100, 120. Alright, show me 120. 30, 60, 120. Is it a belt problem? I mean, this is clearly being limited by belt speed. So let's make sure to make that Mark II. Make all of these Mark II. And yeah, just for the sake of getting things filled out more quickly, let's make these Mark IIIs even. Let's make this whole row Mark III belts, just so that manifolds fill fast enough. And we can get back to producing. And copper sheets were a bottleneck even when... Copper sheets were very nearly a bottleneck even when they were only storage locked, which means this one is Mark III, but it means that just 30 production is absolutely not going to cut it under any circumstances. The good news is that they have gotten copper ingots. These seem to be emptying. So production is now back online at least. But at 30 a minute, it is just glacial. So, how do we fix that? Let's see, is there anything we can do? So, a smelter is 30 ingots a minute. These require 20. So I could maybe fit another 3 smelters in. Not easily, but I can make like a second row of smelters here. And I'm just going to assume that this copper patch is not being fully utilized. Yeah, that's a minor Mark 1. Let's get a Mark 3 on that, which is going to make 480. Which means, wait, no, don't do that. Let's make this Mark III belts. I don't want to use my relatively limited at the moment industrial beams for anything. Alright. Now we can run Mark III belts through here. And put another smelter manifold. Space is somewhat limited, but we can squeeze should have swapped to the jetpack, to the hoverpack for that, but I didn't. And it worked out anyway, so there. Alright, then we take some conveyor belts into this. Make more copper ingots. Control V, Control V. Control V. And we need to hook these up to a power source, which plenty of random cables lying around. Alright, so now we have another 120 copper ingots, which we can snake around this way. And give me some space here. Let's swap to the hover pack. So I can set up a constructor manifold like this. And we're going to have to work out how to actually get this attached into the whole system. But we have that. Alright, so we make all of these copper sheets. We hook them up to power, and then we hook them up to the supply of copper ingots. Alright. Attach these manifolds together. Go around to the other side, attach them together. I take that, I hook that into that. Alright, and this is going to be the ugly part. So you need to gain some height. Not quite like that. You need to gain some height and then sneak around into one of these mergers. Like that. It's pretty awful, but it probably works. And this is another 60 copper sheets a minute added to the production line. So now up to 90 total, which is like fine. It's not 120, which was already a bit sketch, but it'll have to do. Alright, and that last bit is Mark 1. It needs to be Mark 2 at least. Alright, we've done it. This is just gonna be manifolding. Which I can accelerate by making faster belts. Ordinarily, manifold wind-up time wouldn't be a problem, but because the reason I'm trying to do this is to save time waiting on something I'm actively building at the moment, it does make sense to speed that up every little bit you can get. The copper supplies are also having somewhat manifold problems, but yeah, alright. This is a significant improvement. Now, why do I have 2 radar towers within 5 feet of each other? One of them can go. Alright, now with copper sheet supplies secured, now we can head back to the south, put the jetpack on. We can head back to the factory to continue working. Hopefully, that will be the last time I have to go and fix production speed somewhere else. It might not be, but hopefully it will be. Alright. And we are back. Switch to the hover pack. And get up into the air. So we need to hook this pipe up now that we have actual pipe supplies. So you go around like that and into there. Alright, so that's 3 rows. I believe it's 2 more rows. Alright, so that lines up. Now we can start doing the placing. Alright, and then that's lined up horizontally, that's lined up vertically. Alright, that's lined up horizontally. Yep, copper sheets, as always. So it's what, 90 copper sheets, which means it's going to be approximately a minute to place one batch. Because we're making 90 a minute, we're using 90 a minute. So that works out. Which, it's probably fine. I'm trying to do the math on the power shards. And I think with copper sheet production limiting things to 1 blueprint a minute, I think power shard production will be fine. So we have 54 in the bank. And that will last us for like 9. Well, we have 54 in the bank, and it's 6 per blueprint. So that would last us for like 9 blueprints, which is 18. And then also, because we're limited to a blueprint a minute, we are also getting 2 more power shards a minute, which means over the course of those 18 blueprints, we would be getting another 36 power shards, which is like not quite keeping pace, but is close. And we only have so much left to do. So yeah, it's very difficult to tell because so much of it is like, are there other problems that we'll run into that'll slow us down? That sort of thing. But probably power shards, if they are a problem, they'll be a pretty minor problem. Like, we'll have to wait a little bit for them. Alright, how many do we have on this row? 12, 24, 36, 48. So we are one row away. I actually think this needs another row of foundations. I think I was a bit more generous on the spacing between the lines for this floor than I was for previous floors, so that's why. Alright, let's get placing another line then. And got that. Got that. And copper sheet shortages. Alright, let's do some bug fixing in the meantime. So all of these appear to be on green. So if we head all the way down to the end of the line, nitric acid at 50 on everything. Alright, that's fantastic. It also means we will have trouble finding more bugs to fix, but yeah, it does look like the nitric acid line is even now still struggling to keep up. Ah, no, it's actually the opposite. Yeah, so the nitric acid line isn't struggling to keep up. It is actually just saturating. Like, it's producing more than it needs, which is great because it means that the problems of the iron plate shortage have been fully resolved. Alright. I see a whole lot of yellow down this way. Just check, make sure that it's an output problem, not an input problem. Yep, plenty of inputs everywhere. Can we squint over at that factory? I think we've checked that a bunch of times. That's the turbo motor factory. I think we've checked it a bunch of times and it is good. 100% functional. And if we look at these, they all seem to be showing blue. Except for obviously these ones, which we haven't turned on yet. Hopefully that will have buyed us enough time that copper sheets will have showed back up. Got like 200 copper sheets. That's something at least. Alright. We are so close. Because this is also the last row of the floor, which means we don't actually need the last two, right? So this would be 60. So we take that out, we'd have 59. Take that out, we'd have 58. Yes, we are actually done with this row. There is no need to place the final blueprint. I was not on my pipes hotbar, I was on my solids hotbar, so I hit random buttons. Alright, now we add all these pipelines back in. And we hook the power up both to the previous row and along in this row. No, not that. That goes there, and then that goes there. And then we that up. So the fuel is attached. And now we just need to head down and grab the other side of the fuel and attach that up. Which was this one. This one's attached on one side and not the other, which means this is the one we are looking for. So this needs to come along to this corner. So bring this along to this corner and then up. And continue going up. And up and up and up. Okay, make sure not to run into that line. That would be awkward. Alright. And it's up and it's hooked in. That is another row set up. Now, also since the nitric acid problem was fixed, we can run along and turn these on. And once we turn these two rows on, first of all, it'll buy us a fair amount of time for production of copper sheets. And also, it will start letting us see potential problems elsewhere in the factory. Because at this point, once this is on, the factory will be like 90% done. Just the top floor left, which is a less powerful floor than these ones. We run along, click a bunch of switches. And watch as the power production skyrockets to never before seen heights. And this should be more power than we could ever use. Especially since I tend to, at least in this game, I have been producing in small quantities a lot of the time. Alright. Just one more row of power on switches for this floor, and then we go to the top floor. And then we will be like, what, it's probably like 80% actually. It's like 6 floors, the top of which is underpowered. Alright. Let's start this one. So many switches to flip. Just flipping switches. Ah, the joy of doing the same repetitive action over and over again. Alright, how many more? We still have a bunch left to do. I really shouldn't have waited to do these all at once. I should have did the previous floor while as soon as I finished it. I just sort of forgot. Well, partially I forgot. More so, I didn't want to add more strain on the system while the nitric acid solution was being, like, trickling through. It's probably a mistake, though. Probably didn't ultimately do much of anything. We are almost done, though. And golly, the power is crazy. The power production is actually incredible. This is the last one, right? This is supposed to be the one at like 300-ish instead of full power. I'm going to have to figure out the exact numbers that they need to be at some point, just to spare me from having 99.9% or whatever. Alright, that's everything. Capacity up to 223,000. Alright. That's that. One more floor, and it is a bit different. One more floor, and it's a bit different because it's using a partial producer instead of a full producer. So the good news is we were almost certainly not going to have to deal with the whole two-pipe situation for this. This is 100, 200, 300, 400, 437.5, which should be comfortably within the margin of error of a single Mark II pipe. So it is 437.5, which is 437.5 divided by 10.42 is 41. So there's going to be like a row and a half fewer here than the other ones. Alright, let's start bringing it up. And up you go. And a bit further up. Now we need to put the wall in. Something like that. Looks high enough. Alright, now we build out the foundations to make this a proper floor. Does need to go a bit on this side. Doesn't really. Like, that is just kind of like wasted space over there, but no point not having a little bit of extra space on the edge. Alright. So that. So that's enough space for one row. We do need that to come out. And we just start going back for the second row. And we should be completely fine on copper sheets. We've spent ages since we've last placed a machine, so it should be averaging out quite nicely. Alright. We're about to run out of concrete, which means it'll be time to start placing machines again. Yep. Alright, so that's that. So now we get the generator manifold blueprint. And we give it some space along the edge. And we go 2, 4, 6, 8 copper sheets, but it's a storage problem, not a production problem for now at least. 10, yeah, I lost count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yes, alright, I was right. That was 10. Alright, we are so close to being done with this, which will probably be the only building project on this scale that I ever do in this world. It's almost certainly extraordinary overkill. But what is Satisfactory if not a game about extraordinary overkill? Alright, just wait for this row of copper sheets to show up. Place that. Alright, and then we have to hook this all up. The wires. And then we have to hook the pipelines together. And then we have to go down to grab the pipeline and attach it onto the floor. Which is conveniently brought it all the way up here. So over the edge you go and in. And now we need to attach these power poles down to a power pole below, which, I don't know, tried to drop it down through the floor. Alright, so now these are all attached to the grid. Which means it is just a question of running a bit more concrete for the foundations and just a couple more rows. And I think the remaining rows can be rows of 10 instead of 12. Because let me look at one of these so that I can do the math. 10.42. So yes, I was correct. It is 41.98. Which means if we do one row of 12 and then 3 rows of 10, then we will have enough. So we will do 3 rows of 10, and then we will be done. Alright, fuel generator manifold. And in we go. 2, 4. Copper sheet shortage, please. 6. Oh, and it looks like the power shard shortage is becoming a real thing. Do I have summer sloops, and I have summer sloops, and I have slugs, so I can just plop down a constructor, tell it to make power shards. Wait, actually, I think the summer sleep doesn't always work on the first try. Yeah, so it takes one, and from now on out, this will be producing slooped stuff. So once this is done, we can put purple power slugs in, and then yellow, and also we'll get some from the artificial power shard factory while we're doing this, and we don't need that many more. We do not need all that many more. Alright, and then swap this to do the purple one, which will get us another 10 power shards, which is probably going to be enough on its own. But just, frankly, for inventory management more than anything, we can get the yellow ones out of my inventory as well. Speaking of inventory management, I'll drag some stuff out. Let's see, I don't need 8 pipes. I do need copper sheets to make sure that the dimensional storage continues filling. We are one slug away from being done with this, and then we can take this machine down, obviously. Alright, so that is that. And back to production. So it's 2, 4, 6 on this row. 8. $10. And then we hook up the pipes. And, oop, we messed up there. That's unfortunate. Right, and then this is being powered from that side. So we curve the fuel around and in. And finally, we hook the power up. Alright, we are now at 22 power plants on this last row. Let's add some more foundations in. We're going to need another 2 rows of this, which we don't quite have the foundation space for at the moment. Alright. Please snap to somewhere where I can place you. Thank you. Alright, I think this might be enough foundation space for 2 more rows. Really close, but let's get placing. 2, 4, 6, 8, 8. And copper sheets. Copper sheets are copper sheeting. Alright, so let's sit here and wait for a minute. And power shards look like they might be close as well. I should be getting like 2 a minute. It doesn't seem like I have been. I really don't want to run out of power shards this close to being done with this project. It would be so annoying. 2. Alright, at this point, the copper sheets flowing into my inventory are looking like they are waiting on production as opposed to just transportation. So that's unfortunate. Alright, let's hook those pipes up. Hook the power cables up. And then we're going to have to bring the power cables back to there. And then finally attach the rocket fuel pipe over and in. And now find something to do for a couple minutes, because we need to wait on more copper sheets and probably power shards as well. Power shards might be showing up. Yes. So power shard production is still going. It's just slow. It's 2 a minute. Which would be enough under pretty much any other circumstances, except for when I need to use like literally 1,000 of them on a single project. Copper sheets are waiting. Let's get one more row of foundations here. I think it's not necessary, but just to give some breathing room on the edge. Alright. And let's start placing these in. Yep. We're going to have slug problems and copper sheet problems. So let's swap to the jetpack and go looking for slugs. Now I am always seeing slugs off in the distance whenever I'm in the middle of something and don't have the time or reason to pick them up. So they should be pretty much everywhere. And while we're collecting these slugs, it will obviously also be time for the synthetic stuff to show up and for the copper sheets to fill up as well. So there's pretty much no loss to doing this, since we would just be standing around waiting anyway. Alright, I see one back there in the cave. Just a blue one. But a blue one is still... oh boy. Yep, there's a spider back here, apparently. There are a bunch of blue ones in this cave, actually. And the spider is yanked out. Please don't jump on me. I'm just trying to shoot you with a rebar gun. He's moving. Alright, got the midair snipe. And that guy shouldn't respawn with these oil extractors right here. Let's grab the slugs. And third slug here. And there's a fourth slug all the way on the other side. There's like a weird number of blue slugs for one location. Normally they just put like a purple slug or something in here. But mission success. We got rewarded quite well for it. Now let's see. There's a purple slug. Also guarded by some enemies. But I should be able to just stay out of line of sight and grab it without having to fully deal with him. And just try to keep some altitude. Looking down on stuff is generally the best way of doing it. Also because a lot of them tend to be up at altitude anyway. Alright, there's another purple slug. And I see a blue slug over here. Let me grab that. Ooh, is that a summer sloop? Well, not really looking for summer sloops, but certainly won't complain. Yoink. Yep, this is the blue one that I saw from afar. Grab that. There's another blue one down here. Lots of blue ones. I would prefer to have lots of purple ones. If those were all purple ones, I would be done already, probably. Alright, I don't want to stray too far from the factory, because then I'll just have to walk back, and that's a waste of time. Alright. Is there anything interesting in this poison cloud? What? I've been shot. Alright. Well, we're gonna move on. There's a summer soup over here, which I will grab. Please don't notice me, Spitter. Okay, it noticed me. I'm gonna have to fight it then. Where? Alright. I normally don't have trouble seeing them, but this guy's like low-key kind of camouflaged. Alright. We got the summer sloop. There's another blue slug over here. And honestly, like, we're probably pretty close to enough. Let's see. Oh, there's a purple one over there. That purple one should suffice. Plus I'll grab a couple more on the way back, but the synthetic ones are being produced. So we don't need a huge number. We need 3 per machine, which is 10, so we need 30. So yeah, we should be good to go here. I'm going to make my way back. I'll grab a Mercer Sphere, though, certainly. Alright, that's that. And now we head back, and honestly, like, with how incredible hypertubes are, just this journey back from here to the top of the power plant will probably take about as much time as taking a hyper cannon from the other side of the map to the top of the power plant. Alright. Switch to the hover pack so that we can go vertically as far as we need to. And now we're over here. How's the power shards looking? 16. And it's literally like the second to last thing. So let's put those in. Just the blue ones. And I guess while that runs, we can place like another one or two of these. It says we're up to 27 power shards. Not sure how that happened. I guess 14 in the inventory and then another chunk elsewhere. But 27 power shards is, I believe, enough. So we just need to get them to line up and fill out the rest of this line. And then we will be done. Yeah, just like that. Alright. Hook these last couple pipes up. And I will probably never place a fuel generator for the rest of this game. And probably in future games I'm going to be dealing with nuclear power, because honestly it seems more convenient to have to place significantly fewer. So just nuclear power is more complicated and arguably less efficient. But boy, you have to place way, way, way less generators. Alright, so that is that. We're going to let the fuel trickle in for a bit, but then we are going to just turn this on. And we'll see. We might have to end up running the second line of pipes up. We will see whether that is necessary or not. I'm hoping the answer is not. Okay, and this last one needs to be set to like 620 or something. Just like barely less. Yeah, so the fuel is trickling in, which means that most of these machines are full, and this is just sort of the last hangout. Alright. By the time anything gets to interfere with that, it'll be full. So let's start turning machines on. And then we'll probably just spend the rest of the stream bug fixing this, because I expect it is going to break horribly in a number of ways. And it might crash my power grid. Like, I don't think it will. I think we have enough spare power that this shutting down won't instantly cause problems, but it very well might. Especially now with it running at 100%. Alright. Almost done. These rows are quicker than the rows downstairs, which is definitely nice. Alright, a couple more. Oh, connecting to chat. That's not encouraging. Alright, we're back. Alright. That is that. Fully on for the first time. And we will see if it is getting enough fuel back here. It is. At least for now. Alright. So this battle station is now fully armed and operational. Let's check. We're up to like 230,000 power. So yeah, we are almost, not quite, at 10 times power production, power consumption. So let's drop down to the bottom. And I mean, we're gonna have to wait for a while for things to even out. So this is producing petroleum coke. Which is all of this stuff. God, this part of the factory is a mess. So this is the turbo fuel. I mean, I think we're going to see problems relatively quickly now that everything is online. I suspect we will start to figure out, like, if production is up to full demand. We'll have to wait probably a while for that to actually come to fruition, though. Is there anything else I can do really quick? Not really? I guess I'm just going to be running around here. So everything should be hitting 100% relatively quickly. Like, this is at 79%, but that's clearly just because it hasn't had time to warm up. It is indeed running... Alright, no, it's still technically running at 79%. Interesting. Where is this petroleum coke going? I assume it's going to places that are also blocked. Gosh, ridiculously long lines of blenders, by the way. Like, how are they this long? So this is up to 91% and filling. Alright. I think we might have similar problems with pipe capacity on the turbo fuel and maybe even the nitric acid. Let's see. This turbo fuel pipe is flow rate. Its flow rate is not 600. It's fluctuating wildly. It does seem to be almost balancing out at 600. Let's see if it crashes again, though. No, yes, alright. So it is going to be doing that. Which is, let's see, and then it's feeding that into these, which are taking 60 turbo fuel per batch, 480, and then more of it is going along into this pipe, which is feeding these secondary batches. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to run over here and see, is turbo fuel shortage? No. There's a rocket fuel overflow here. Did I not turn this one on? Yeah, I mean, this entire thing... Alright, so to be clear, the ones on this side are green. The ones on this side are practically deadlocked. Where is this? Oh, this doesn't hook up properly at all. Yeah, it just kind of looked like it hooked up properly from that one angle I was looking at. Alright, that's easy enough to fix. We just hook that up there. And now that should be good to go. Yep. Spare rocket fuel is draining, and these are going to be back up to 100% in no time. And now we need to see what is going on with turbo fuel. Turbo fuel looks to be doing fine. This is at 99%. So this might be having sloshing problems as well. Or it might just be that because I miscounted. I would really love it if the turbo fuel production just worked. Well, it looks like this one is continuing to have problems. Yeah. This is having the same problems that the other ones did. Which means it's no big deal. We just need to bring a second pipe up. It's kind of annoying that Mark II pipes just blatantly don't work, but not much you can do about it. Alright, and then this needs to come around the edge. Actually, which side does it need to be on? It needs to be on that side. It doesn't really matter. But I will bring it over to that side. Alright, so you come along that way. and then up onto the foundation, cross over there, and then into there. And that problem is now resolved. So now that should be running at 100% capacity. And we can drop back down. So now all of these blenders should be running at 100%. Yep, they're just getting up there, which should allow me to then backtrack to see any problems in previous things. Yeah, seeing a lot of 100% around here. Not seeing any obvious shortages just yet. Of course, it is absolutely within the realm of possibility that the shortage is way further down the line. It just hasn't trickled up yet. Like, I am seeing some yellow spots in here. So what is your problem? 42% because of a lack of sulfur. That's certainly a surprise. You wouldn't expect sulfur to be a problem because it is literally just coming out of a mine. Like, how are sulfur shortages happening? Alright, it's coming along on 2 belts. Let's check. How much sulfur is there supposed to be? 1,031.25. So this belt is clearly under capacity. I remember one of the sulfur belts was always under capacity. We're gonna have to head over and take a look. Looks like we have a full belt and a non-full belt of Mark 5s. I'm gonna have to take a look to see exactly how they're split up because I may have split it wrong. We are currently out of the range of power. We'll be back in before we have to go up, though, so I'm going to stick with the hover pack. Alright, and up we go. And we have 600 sulfur a minute there, 480 sulfur a minute there. Alright, 600 plus 480 equals 1,080. So we should be slightly over capacity. Alright, the left one is capped out, the right one isn't. Hold on. Mark 4 belts. Ah. I think I see the problem. Mark 4 belts are 480. Mark 5 belts are 780. So this is moving 600. This is moving 600. It needs to be Mark 5 belts the full way. This is moving 480. It can afford to be Mark 4 belts, but yeah. So we need to upgrade that. That's Mark 5. Was it just that one tiny gap that we missed out on? Is the rest of this all Mark 5? Actually, both of them are all Mark 5, except for that one tiny gap. Alright, so it's a good thing I checked back there, because that would have been a very annoying problem to fix if I had been trying to stare at like how it was split and work out something from that. Alright, actually if I drop onto the belt, I'm moving at the same speed as the sulfur, which means this is at max capacity. Whereas on this one, I'm moving faster than the sulfur because there's only 480 on this belt instead of the full. Yeah, alright. So now we have 600 here, so this splitter is going to be 300, 300. Which, God, how many machines are in this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 22.5 times 14 is 315. Did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I did 45 times 14 is 630. Oh, is this last one just underclocked? Yeah, okay. So the last one is underclocked. So this is going to be the same. And this is going to be the same. And then that one's wacky and different. So I guess we should check these now. This one is yellow. Why are you yellow, good sir? Heavy oil residue shortage. Alright. On to solve another mystery. So this is the heavy oil residue pipe. We trace it back through this way. And then it curves along this way. And then it comes into this pipe where it splits into two things. Oh wait, no. It goes... That is a different use of heavy oil residue. It's coming from here and then splitting off that way, actually. Alright, heavy oil residue... Wait, what? I'm so confused. Where is the heavy oil residue actually being produced? It splits into this for fuel. Oh, is this... Yeah, so it has to go through the entire fuel setup. And then once it gets past that... Speaking of fuel setup, that's another problem we're going to need to unpack at some point. For now, let's look at these. These are directly from crude oil, but I see yellow. Why are you yellow? Output problems? Output problems. Okay. How many of these are there? It's 40. Are these all max powered, or is this last one underpowered? The last one is underpowered. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 40 times 11 is 440. Plus like 25, so it's like 465-ish. So again, is this just another problem of pipes lying about how much capacity they have? really hope it isn't. I don't want to spend the rest of my life tracking down all this ridiculous pipe nonsense. Alright, so this isn't... So that fuel is being underproduced. So then this goes into these machines, which also appear to be output blocked. And yet, despite all of that, this pipe isn't providing enough to... Yeah, I'm just gonna stick a pump on it, see if that solves the problem. Alright, well, hopefully that's working then. Looks like it might be. Let's see, is there anywhere else convenient I could just stick a pipe just to be sure? I mean, there's a Mark II pump down there, which should be providing more than enough. It's probably not a pump problem. It's probably just a pipe capacity problem. Alright, you come along here. And... okay, yep, this is a whole thing, isn't it? Let's get stackable pipeline supports, I guess. Bring this up quite high so that it can get over that and down into there. And stick a pump there. Find a power pole to hook it up to. Where are all the power poles for this? Why are they Mark 1? Alright, you become a decent power pole and hook up to that pump. Alright, that is that heavy oil residue problem solved. Are the rest of these guys going to be having the same problem? Yes, they are. Freaking Mark II pipes, man. Like, it is just so unreasonable to have to run twice as many pipes for everything, always. Why can't I just ask them nicely to use 600 instead of 300 or whatever? Now, are these machines actually having shortages? So this seems to be... It seems like we've solved the problem here, at least. This does seem to be filling up somewhat. Now, are these ones getting all the heavy oil residue they need? No, they're a bit short. Of course they're a bit short. Why wouldn't they be? So we're gonna have to like run like all of these pipes were a ridiculous mess beforehand, and now you're telling me I need to run a second set just to be able to keep up with what the capacity of a Mark II pipe should be in the first place? Like, come on, man. It's ridiculous. And yeah, we are seeing yellow. If I head over here, I assume the yellow is going to be lack of turbo fuel. Yep, that's what it is. Because the pipes are dumb and bad. Alright, well. It's just so irritating. Alright, let's see. We have all this heavy oil residue, which is not making it to the end of its lines. And this... oh, this is still a sulfur problem. So as long as the sulfur is still trickling in, I guess the heavy oil residue problem won't make itself known here. But on these lines over here, I believe it is a heavy oil residue problem that's causing these yellows. Yep. So we are going to have to fix them, and we're going to have to fix all of them. So what, there's like 3 rows. So we're going to have to get a foundation out over here to put this stuff on. It's just so annoying. Why does it have to be this way? Why can't it just work? Alright, well, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I'm gonna look up fluid tutorials and try to figure out if there's just any way at all of solving this stupid problem without having to run another billion pipes. But I really don't want to have to run another billion pipes, because Mark II pipes are enough for this project. Alright, well, let's check, because I mean, we still have preposterous power capacity, even with the shortages. Ooh, there's a fun yellow. Why is that yellow? This is an output thing. Yes, and the nitric acid isn't going at 100% because these aren't going at 100% because of the stupid heavy oil problem. Which means that everything is going to be flickering yellow forever. Alright, well, let's yeah, I'm gonna look at fluid tutorials, try to figure out how to make that not be a problem. Until then, we have successfully basically finished this whole thing. It's not literally done because bug fixing, but bug fixing is an eternal process. So we're just going to check. This is still 100%. Very precisely 100% too. Those motors show up right at the nick of time, apparently. I'm going to put a stack in simply because that stresses me out. It'll make no difference. It's at 100% anyway, but it stresses me out to have it right on the edge like that. Alright. I don't have, like, MAM researches to do or anything, right? Apparently I do. I'll put that in. There are a couple more of these. Yeah, we are like 90% done with hard drives for this game. Not 100%, but we are close. This tower just looks so cool. I don't know. It would obviously look cooler if I put any work into making it look nice, but I'm not really doing that this game. I might do that next game. But yeah, we have power. Let's head back to the hub. Figure out what our next steps are in terms of the next factories to build. And then we will call it a day there. Alright, so yeah. Back to the Space Needle. Space elevator, we're not in Seattle. I don't know why I keep thinking it's the Space Needle. We're not in Seattle, it's the Space Elevator. Thank you very much. So we're gonna head back to the hub and figure out what there is left to do. Alright. So we have Blueprint Designer Mark III, which requires neuroquantum processors. Obviously this is technically optional, but I assume I'll need the neuroquantum processors at some point. Spatial energy regulation needs superposition oscillators. And also some other stuff which I have. And then peak efficiency is, I believe, also optional. And it doesn't require anything we don't already have. So we need this for that because it's a project part. And that's it, right? I assume that we will need neuroquantum processors for something. So, I mean, those are our last two things. We need neuroquantum processors. We need superposition oscillators. And then we need to throw the project parts together, and that'll be that. And then we will complete Tier 9 and finish the game. So yeah, almost done. Really, how hard could it be? Neural quantum processor is supercomputers, kind of annoying. Fixed-light trigons, mildly annoying. Excited photonic matter, trivial. Time crystals, pretty easy. So really, it's just supercomputers and fixed-light trigons, and then we'll have that. And we need both of these for the AI expansion server. Superposition oscillator is just dark energy, which is pretty easy. Crystal oscillator, which is pretty easy. Aluminum, which is like mildly annoying. And then the photonics stuff, which is trivial. So, yeah, I mean, that's not that much. It is really absolutely not that much. We're going to have to produce a whole lot of previous project parts, obviously. Yeah, AI expansion server, biochemical sculptor is fixed-site trigons, Sambo directory systems and water. Nuclear pasta is just copper powder and pressure conversion cubes. It's pretty simple. I mean, it takes a huge amount of copper powder, but it's not horribly complicated once you have it. It does require a lot of RCUs and fused frames, but whatever. And then I assume this ballistic warp drive will probably require singularity cells, but we'll worry about that later. For now, we're going to end the stream. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Make sure to follow if you haven't already. And yeah, I will see you guys